got renovations, I think it's required now with code. Yeah. That's part of the code when you bring it up to code. Yeah. So most buildings that have been renovated, you run this issue when you can run into like a 40-year-old building that was built maybe in the 60s. That's one of the questions we're going to look at. If it's something that's built after 85 or something like that, I think it's already in the code that was instituted back then. So any renovations included that as well.
Got it.
And also, you talked about having an alarm. If it's central station alarm fire, that'd be more of a discount for these type of buildings for an insurance company because they'd have a faster response to mitigate any potential fire losses. So if you're looking at having an alarm system installed, having a central station hooked into some call center for fire would be an opportunity for a discount on your property insurance.
Sprinkler systems required for renovation?
It depends. They're not required, but you do get a discounted property rates. It's a rate they charge per square foot if you have sprinkler systems building. So if it's sprinkler, it needs to be fully sprinkler. This can't be in certain areas. You need to be fully sprinkler. If it is, you get a much lower rate than somebody that doesn't have a sprinkler building. So you can expect to pay lower property rates again because it's going to mitigate their potential loss. So the risk is lower, your price is lower.
You know what maintenance is on a sprinkler system? I mean, how much maintenance is on an annual basis to you guys?
There's an annual inspection done.
Yeah, it's done by the fire marshal. Yeah. He'll come on in and go through and test it. I think that you pay some cities charge a fee.
I think Troy pays like $400 a year
for it. Is there annual maintenance then, like blowing out the lines?
Well, what you have to do is, depending on the type of system, if it's a type with a check valve, you've got to confirm that the check valve is holding the water up so that you don't have old nasty water in the sprinkler system going back. So, and you're not allowed to have active plumbing flowing through the sprinkler system. You got to have that special anti-siphon valve between any potable water and that. So those have to be checked out yearly, probably once a quarter, but because there's so little water flow, those things always clog up. I'd say about $250 for each anti-siphon valve.
Yeah, typically a local municipality can do that. Your insurance carrier and agent can bring in people to do these inspections for you free of charge. So if you're paying for a policy, these services typically 99% of the time are ancillary. You can bring in what they call a loss control. And that loss meaning from the insurance standpoint and your standpoint, a loss is some money they'll have to pay out. So they'll typically do this before they would bind or on a yearly basis. I could recommend somebody from the insurance company come out, do an inspection and give any recommendations they may see, or prior to an inspection to make sure they pass one. You see this a lot in restaurants.
Really? You guys can do that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's no charge to the client because you're already a policyholder. That's what you're paying for. So this is all built in. So I highly recommend it if you're going to have an inspection, have a few weeks ahead of time, have the insurance carrier get out there. They'll provide this for you without the ramifications that you would have by the state or city inspection.
Isn't there potentially greater amount of damage by water with the sprinkler system than the fire itself?
It's a very high claim. The sprinkler system, you got to make sure you have the maintenance issues in there. And there's vacancy, there's a clause in every insurance policy about vacancy. If it's considered vacant and it's a percentage of occupancy, the standard rate is 31%. With habitational contracts, it's usually less than 70%. It's considered vacant. Now it's going to vary from insurance company to insurance company, so you got to make sure you look at that. If it's considered vacant under that definition for over 60 days, damage caused by theft, water, or vandalism is excluded. So if 61 days is considered vacant and you have a sprinkler system leak, no coverage. Everything else would be reduced by 15%. So if there's a fire, unless it's arson, is always covered. And then you'd say, okay, we'll pay it, but we're going to reduce 15% because it's vacant.
I'm just thinking that in the case that there's a real fire, the sprinkler system discharges, there's additional damage from water damage.
But that's
that
less than
exceed that they're not in the fire.
But it'd be less than an excess of the fire. Because once a fire gets going, sometimes the smoke damage is really, if you do mitigate a fire, the smoke damage is more than the water damage.
Good to know.